If you think XDefiant is going to kill COD, then you have lost your mind. What is up, guys? I am Purdy Dirty, and this is where we cover all things Purdy and all things dirty in the gaming space. And while XDefiant is a Purdy game, the thought that it will kill or replace COD is just a dirty one. I think labeling something as a COD killer is just something that people do whenever a new game comes out that has a gun in it. It doesn't even have to be good. That's just what they label it. Any game with a gun. Anything gets the COD killer label nowadays. If you don't know what XDefiant is, let me tell you. It is a 6v6 FPS that as of now is in the closed beta testing with really no planned release date yet, but it is, you know, kind of talked about that it should be releasing this year. At launch, it's going to have 14 maps, 5 modes, and 5 factions to play. Each of those factions are basically different heroes that come with different sets of abilities to give you a unique playstyle. Also, I think it comes with like 20-something guns at launch. 24, I think, is the number. Another selling point, and probably the biggest selling point of XDefiant, is that there is 0 big fat donut SBMM. What that means is you will have games with a fair mix of players of all skill levels, some better than you, some worse. XDefiant really just seems to be hitting the mark with implementing the little things that people are looking for that COD just isn't doing. Map voting, for example. Players are actually in control of what map they want to play. What a concept, right? The gunplay in XDefiant is smooth, the movement is fast, and the game at its core is really well done, but will it be enough? That's the question that we're going to try and answer today in this video. So XDefiant in its current closed beta state has done so many things well, but it isn't without flaws. Plenty of bugs exist. I know I was having trouble getting my loadouts to save. Anytime I built a class, I'd have to go into the game and then just remake it again, and it was honestly pretty annoying. I've heard many complaints of bad netcode, being killed around corners, and just the servers being bad overall. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to listen to, well, it was in the beta, so you should expect that kind of stuff ever again. This isn't some indie dev making their first game. It's Ubisoft we're talking about, a multi-billion-dollar game developer. The beta was also closed, so they should have had somewhat of an idea of how many people will be playing to kind of sort of prevent this stuff from happening. I'm very much in a I'll believe it when I see it kind of mindset. I'm the same way with Call of Duty. I'll believe the game is good when the game comes out and the game is good. Until then, I don't think the game is good or bad, and I have 0 hopes for it. I don't hope that it fails. I don't expect it to fail. I don't expect it to succeed. I'm just kind of up in the air. I'll see it when I see it. And I would love to hear other people's stance on this. Like, should I ease up a little bit and be a little bit more open to the fact that it's in beta, or do you guys agree with me and that we kind of need to just increase our standards a little bit when it comes to these betas? Let me know in the comments. I believe everyone at the moment just really has a bad taste in their mouth from the Season 3 release of Call of Duty. I think that is really moving people to see XDefiant for more than what it is. I'm by no means saying XDefiant is bad. I'm just saying that it's being incredibly hyped up right now. Being in closed beta, there is a time limit, so tons and tons of people are grinding it out while they can. But what happens when the game launches? You know, what happens when they have the option to just jump on and play and that won't be taken away from them? Will they choose XDefiant over other shooters? That's the question. Will it be enough to keep everyone over the long term? It offers a massive breath of fresh air, and it really brings things back to the basics, but it doesn't really offer anything new either. The maps are decent, but the weapons aren't new. We've seen all those before. The modes we've seen before. And outside of that, there's nothing else. There's no campaign, no battle royale. And before y'all jump down my throat about every game doesn't need a battle royale, no, it doesn't. But you kind of have to take into account just the sphere of gaming we're in right now. Almost all the successful shooters have battle royales in them. You know, all the top games are battle royales. It's just kind of the space that we're in. Should it be that way? No. But is it? Yes. And we kind of have to face that reality. I think that XDefiant killing COD is just a fantasy. But what it does offer, and you guys have to hear me on this, is competition, which is something that we've been absolutely lacking. Call of Duty really has just owned the space in terms of 6v6 multiplayer. Therefore, COD knows people have nowhere to go, and it can just exist without really even trying. And what I hope XDefiant does is it gut checks all the COD devs and makes them realize they can't just keep giving people shit and expecting them to play with it. It's gross. XDefiant has almost 0 potential of killing COD or even beating out COD, but it does have huge potential to get COD to make changes that the players want. I hate to say it, but COD hasn't been COD for some years now. We got to let that go. That's in the past. It's probably never coming back either. The devs have shifted to a completely different style of play with a different target audience. What is also preventing COD from dying is honestly its own players and even content creators. The game could be in the worst state possible and people will still play and they'll still buy bundles. Now, I even recently made a video about Joe apologizing for the Season 3 stuff. I'm going to play the clip.
I would say today is probably the worst day we've ever had in Warzone history.
And then today, or maybe yesterday, he's making videos saying the update's pretty good. It was a the good, the bad, the ugly. And while the good was probably a good 6 or 7 minutes worth, the bad was 2 or 3 minutes worth, and then the ugly was maybe a minute or 2 worth, and nothing was that bad. Bottom line is, people just won't leave the game. Even if they hate it, even if they think it's the worst thing to happen in Warzone, people will always play Call of Duty. It'll always have creators making content on it. It will always have millions of people buying the bundles and just making millions of dollars in revenue. I have zero faith in COD players to just leave the game alone long enough for the devs to actually worry and force them to make changes. At least not in this Call of Duty's lifetime, not in Modern Warfare 2022's lifetime. We're gonna have to wait until the next Call of Duty, and then the cycle will just repeat itself. I feel like I'm being a big positivity vacuum making this video, and that's not what I want. I just think that XDefiant will have its space and succeed in its own way, but if anyone thinks that this is the game that's going to bring COD down, you're saying that purely out of anger, out of what COD has done to you, and I'm here to give you a hug, bring you back to reality. I can't even think of the last shooter that released and really even stood a chance at beating COD or contending with COD. The only way to beat COD is for us to let it beat itself. So guys, it is time to wake up. XDefiant and Call of Duty can coexist and everything would be just fine. So with that, I think I've said everything I need to say. I don't make super long videos. I like to keep it short and to the point. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.